Welcome back to Midpoint. Dr. Robert Rabil joins us from Florida Atlantic University. Got to admit, haven't really heard of Salafism a lot, but it's becoming more of our vernacular and more part of this debate because of this book, Salafism in Lebanon. And we're so glad to have Dr. Rabil here to sort of explain what Salafism is and also the threat of certain Muslims in the Middle East. And talk about the book a little bit, your research for the book, and how Salafism really sort of pinpoints a specific way of looking at things.
Salafism comes from the Arabic root word salaf. Salaf in Arabic means the ancestor. So to put it in a concise way, it's a global religious movement that would like to go and create a society modeled after the one that existed during the first four rightly guided caliph, who were the companions of the Prophet and ruled from 632 to 661. This constitutes the golden age of Islam. Now, Salafism as a movement, or the pious ancestor, it had been expanded. But at the heart of it is that those 30 years, they are extremely important, where the caliph, the companions of the Prophet, they expanded the realm of Islam. And why is that? Because they applied what they call the prophetic model. Mainly, they walked in the footsteps of Prophet Muhammad and they adhered to the tenets and principles of Islam as set forth and as applied by Prophet Muhammad. This is merely the word Salafism and the global religious movement. Now, this movement, Salafism, is not only about creating that. It has also an ideology. And its ideology is split, is divided into three branches or three categories. You have those who are, they call themselves the quietist. The quietist Salafist believe now this is not the time to create that Islamic state. You have to precede that with creating a society to be faithfully Muslim, to be ready as a stepping stone for creating that Islamic golden Salaf society. So they believe in indoctrination, and they use the word tarbiyah. Tarbiyah in Arabic means you have to go to school and study, yes, follow a curriculum that is Muslim in principle, but also at home and society. Society and the family, they have a duty to raise that child. The upbringing should be also, again, very much adhering to the tenets and principle of Islam. Then you have the activist Salafi. The activist Salafi or Haraki Salafi, they believe we have to be engaged in politics, although in principle it's against our ideology, but we have to do that. Why? We have to counsel the Muslim and especially the Arab rulers because they have done many mistakes. Their decisions have been catastrophic to the Arab and Muslim world. And then you have the Salafi Jihadi. And the Salafi Jihadi, of course, you have Al-Qaeda and now ISIS. Mainly these, they believe, if you are going to bring that Islamic state that ISIS has done, the only way to bring it is through jihad, through violence, and application of Sharia law, as we see it, as they see it.
Is Salafism introduced into mainstream schools, or are there separate Salafist schools? And how does this tie in with the terror organizations?
All right. As I mentioned, these are the different schools. So broadly speaking, you have three separate schools under Salafism. You have scientific Salafism or a quietist Salafi, the Haraki Salafi, and the Salafi Jihadi. What we have a problem with, ISIS and Al-Qaeda. These are Salafi Jihadi. But you have the gray area now. A gray area, where the gray area is? The gray area is when someone is an activist or Haraki Salafi, for example, in Europe, in Germany, he could become a Salafi Jihadi in Iraq and Syria. And if he goes back to Germany, what do you expect of him? So you have this gray area where once you are indoctrinated by this ideology, once you become a Haraki Salafi, it's easy. It becomes an easy transition to become a Salafi Jihadi. Because you say, listen, we are under pressure, we are being under attack, we are being inflicted and afflicted by so many, we have to take a position. And here they'll tell you, we are the victorious sect. In whatever school you come from, the Salafi believes that they are the victorious sect, and they set themselves apart from all other Muslims. All other Muslims.
Is this ideology in itself posing a threat, or is it just a way for the terrorists to hide behind this religion?
No, the ideology is extremely, I would say, threatening to me and concerning to me as an intellectual and as a scholar. Why? Because it is this ideology that sets them apart. For example, at the heart of the ideology, you have a concept called Tawheed, or the unity of God. They believe in the oneness of God, oneness of Lordship, for example. Oneness of Godship. What does it mean? Means that if you want to worship God, God only is the object of your worship. If you associate the worship of God with any other, you are a kafir, you are an unbeliever. Why I mention this? You have Shias that believe in Imam Ali. Imam Ali is a central figure. So if you believe in Imam Ali, you are a kafir. For example, you have the Druze. They believe in Caliph Ibrahim, in Caliph al-Hakim. So here you are, because you are doing this, you are a kafir. So this is an ideology that the two schools, the Salafi Jihadi and the Haraki, they go and they level the charge of unbelief or the takfiri charge against Muslims and non-Muslims alike. And this is what's so dangerous.
Dr. Rabil, the book is Salafism in Lebanon. We're coming right back, right here on Midpoint.